How you doing, everybody? Randy Richard in the shop. Today we're going to get the striking anvil leg vise stand all completed. And I'm going to thank everybody right now. Thank you for watching. And stick with the videos. They're probably boring as can be, but if you're interested in this kind of subject matter, you know, they're not that bad. Anyway, and so I'm thanking you now for watching and hopefully sticking with the video. Anyway, I started this project, probably a couple months ago now, I think. And it's just been really hard to get back to it. The weather was just so horrible this winter and stuff. It was just really, really tough. And I had other things to do, and you just kind of drift away from a project and it sits there and you trip over it all the time. Well, finally, the last few days, I got it done. So I posted a picture on Instagram, I know that, and a little short walk around. So maybe you saw that. Follow me on Instagram, and you'll probably see things a little sooner than YouTube, because it takes me a while to get things all edited and all that stuff, and so it takes me a little bit of time. Anyway, so let's get right back to the leg vise and let's get it finished up. If you don't know what a leg vise is or what a striking anvil is, there's lots of other videos out there where people are using, for blacksmithing I should say, there's lots of people using a striking anvil, and what it is a lower down striking surface, and you're going to pound on it with like a sledgehammer or big hammers, but you're going to have a helper. One person is going to be holding the work, and then somebody else will be actually striking the work with a hammer, maybe a sledgehammer. Like I said, you really want to move some metal. Or maybe you're going to put something in a hardy hole and two of you are going to pound on it. So that's what a striking anvil is for, and it's, like I said, it's lower down, so you can pound on something pretty darn hard. I kind of went with the design of a tripod design, and on the end is mounted a leg vise. Now the leg vise is a bit lower down than usual also, so you're not going to really kind of stand at it and file or do smaller work at it. It's only about 37 inches tall from the ground to the top of the vise. I cut the leg off a little bit. It's an old leg vise I got out of Montana, and it's in pretty darn good shape, really. I had to build a spring for it, and of course a different style mounting for it. So it's a combo unit. The thing's very heavy. It ends up, I don't know what it weighs, but we're thinking at least 200 pounds total. So you can stick with the video, please, and take a look and see how it comes out. So thank you again. We'll catch you in the next one.
This face melt leaves an awesome finish, though.
Alright, that came out just awesome.
Square hole all the way.
Now this is what 1450 looks like. And we'll tack these on. Then we'll work on this tube here, and then this tube. No paint yet. Still a little welding to do. That block down there at the bottom for the vise, this is just sitting here. That's about where it's going to be. This is just sitting there. All my research, this indicates this is a grater blade. I think I mentioned that was possibly a grater blade, but I now believe it is a grater blade. Most likely AR 500 or AR 400 steel. My striking anvil part is going to sit here, has two holes in it, and I've marked out where the holes are. Otherwise they're going to fill up. I either plug the holes or I want to use the holes.
Otherwise, they'll fill up with crap and always be a pain. So I'm going to try to put holes through this. Regular drill, it dulls a center punch. Regular drill doesn't even touch it. I have some carbide drills. These are solid carbide. Once I have a hole through, I'll just torch it out. But that way it has a through hole. It'll be like 2 Pritchard holes, and that's better than just open holes that can fill up. I already kind of started, and we'll just see how it goes. It's drilling. It's hard, but it's drilling. Now, this is a solid carbide drill. They do not like deflection. They have almost zero tolerance for any side thrust, as far as if you're crooked and you lean against it as you're drilling or anything like that. You have to stay straight thrust. Your hole may not be straight or whatever, that will break. No binding. That's why I put a handle on the drill, so I can control this. I'm down there into the middle of it, and it feels, actually it's a little softer. I'm really concentrating on not so much as a lot of pressure as in keeping it straight. The drills are really hard, so they have a tendency to slip in your chuck. You gotta keep checking your chuck for tightness. That's about it, I think, on that. That's super hard on the other side. My drill might be getting a little dull, but we're gonna change over to the other hole.
This is the mount vise block. This is upside down right now. These are the blocks. I've already cleaned up these areas for the weld. I've machined one side of this so it sits nice and flat. I will drill the holes afterwards. We weld it. That's going to go there, and the one on the other side also, just like that. Flush out here, flush on the top, and we're good to go. I'm going to weld it with a Miller 211 with 035 wire and straight CO2 gas. Actually better than I thought it would weld. This piece is AR500. I don't know what this is. This is the old axle, but this is the annealed plate. Nice. Welded in really good. Good penetration and everything. And it's not too humped up or anything. Looks great. Perfect. All the way down. Perfect. Center line of the plate and flush on the end, and that's where it's going to go. So here's the rough idea. I need to cut this off. I'm going to make the top of the vise about 37 inches off the ground, and I'm going to make a foot for it. So I'm going to put a hole in this. This will be welded to the frame, and this will sit in there like so. So we're going to cut that off. Nice flat bottom hole now, because I bored that with the end mill. Oh, perfect fit. Very, very nice. So this vise didn't have a spring in it. I'm going to take this as a very old leaf spring. It's nice and narrow and not too thick. I got this from Jerry Kirkpatrick. Valley Forge is his channel. Jerry's a great guy, and I'm gonna slip this in behind that, of course, and bring it down here, and hopefully that will still work. These leg vices, I've seen the spring both ways. I have another one and it's opposite of this, and so it should still work, and we'll get her in there. All right, got the spring sitting in here. I just spot heated that and bent it. Spot heated that and bent it. So the springiness of this is still in here, and it works as intended. Actually, it works very well. All the way, I can go all the way open with it, actually. So that's really nice, right? Now, one thing Jerry, oh, my lights are blinking. One thing Jerry suggested is to make sure that this can't slide side to side down here. Here it's captured, really shouldn't go anywhere. Right here, the spring is wider than this, and so by 1/2 inch, and I'm going to bend this so it's back straighter vertically, so it meshes flat against here. And I'm going to slice off a little bit here and bend it so it catches a tab on each side of this, so it cannot shift to the sides. Just saw it with a bandsaw. Okay, ears are on. I think that will work just fine. Keep it right on there. It's nice and snug. Pretty darn maneuverable. That works pretty good. We'll pull the wheels off. Let's give him a paint job. So down here on the wheels, you'll notice that this side's short and this side's longer. So there's only really one major kind of screw up I did on this whole thing. This leg is cocked out a little too much, and that's why this tube is not in the center. But that's so what? That doesn't really matter. But this should have been in the middle. And the wheel axle will work best when parallel with the actual weight of the anvil. The pipe is minuscule compared to everything else, so the mass. So I wanted the axle to be parallel with this, so when I tip it, it stays straight. And so that's why I got this cocked at an angle. So yeah, that was the only real major screw up. And I wasn't gonna cut all this stuff off and re-weld it or anything. So it really doesn't affect how it's going to function. So anyway, I just wanted to show you that, and you'll ask questions, I'm sure. U-bolt even got a paint job. So this being spring steel, you know, when you heat it and let it cool, it can get brittle. And down in here, I had bent that, and then cutting and then heating those tabs and bending them, they were pretty brittle anyway. One just, I hit it with a hammer and it broke right off. So I put a piece of 3/16 chunk of flat bar and bent it up and just kind of welded that on as a tab. And this all should go together. Well, that's final assembly. The vise is in actually pretty good shape. Jaws are parallel, they're clean. When you close the vise and it closes up real nice and even. The vise is actually in really good shape. Screws in really good shape, not even close to being worn out at all. No maker's mark on the vise. The little horn piece that comes out here, like over here, is broken off. Who knows when. It's old vise. Other than that, I mean, it's all forged vise. So really, that's about all I did was clean it up real good. Took a file, a few things, rough spots and stuff like that. But other than that, I gave it a paint job. So thank you guys. Thanks for watching this build. Sorry for this taking so long. That wasn't intended that way. But I had some decisions to make on how I was doing this and everything. Sometimes that takes me a while to decide, you might say. But we had a lot of other things going on here with the winter weather and a lot of things to get done here in the spring with trees and things and a mess around here. So thank you for watching. Hopefully I'll be able to do a project soon and actually use this. I'm not going to do that in this video, but I do have some projects I want to blacksmith, and hopefully we'll get those going here relatively soon. It might be a month or two, but especially wait till it warms up a little bit. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe. Please make a comment. Things you like, things you don't like, whatever it takes. And we'll catch you in the next one. Thank you very much. So I thought I'd do just a quick little recap about what the materials I used and where they were obtained and things like that. This plate here was a grater blade cutting edge. It was this much longer and almost 2 inches on each side wider. I flame cut all that off. The ends I took and I annealed them. That's what this piece of plate is from, and the foot piece for the leg vise. I annealed the plates, machined, and then flame cut them to size roughly, and then I machined them to size and used those here. This is made of either 800 AR 400 or AR 500 steel, from what I can figure out. This piece of steel is 2 inches. Now I did not change the size of it other than I cleaned up the bottom and the top, and I put this square hole in it so it would line up with the square hole in the plate. That was my whole objective, is that where I placed that it would all line up. I also put 2 round holes in the plate to line up with these. These were mounting holes. This came out of a horse-drawn carriage, as a counterweight, or a ballast weight, I should say, from my sister-in-law. She has a couple of those carriages, and she removed the ballast. She didn't want that extra weight in them, and so she gave me this. This is just mild steel, 2 inches thick plate, about 8 inches wide, and I don't know, 15 inches long. These blocks here were from an old axle. I mean, really old, maybe 30s or 40s type of thing. Solid axle, and I use it for all sorts of things. I still have 3+ feet of it left, and it's really nice steel and very rusted, obviously. And I cut a couple chunks off of that and just used it as is. The pipe came from my neighbor. It's old pipe that he had for some pallet racking type stuff, and from his dad's old hardware store. So that's been around quite a while. The sucker rod came from my brother-in-law and my daughter up in Montana. They got a bunch of it, and they gave me some sucker rod for the axle. For the wheels. The wheels came off of an old floor jack, I think from Napa, actually. They're nice solid steel wheels. I think they're steel, but they might be cast iron. I didn't have to do anything to them and clean them up. And so I turned the ends of the sucker rod, made so there's a shoulder, and those just went right on there with a cotter pin. The vise I bought off of I think it was Craigslist. Yeah, off of Craigslist, and out of Montana. My daughter went and picked it up for me, and it took us about a year to get it here, but you know, we went up there and picked it up and visited and brought it back. The spring came from Jerry Kirkpatrick. Check out his Valley Forges, his channel. Jerry does all sorts of great stuff as far as especially in the sheet metal area and stuff. He's and some you know, gas brazing and welding. He's very good at that sort of thing, and he does some of the videos on that. But that's where this spring came from. I can't remember, unfortunately, what kind of car. It was a really old car it came out of. The U-bolt came from a Toyota. It's a shackle bolt from like a Toyota Tacoma or something. So it's actually metric. And the end plates, actually that was new steel, some scraps. My son just cut those out on on the plasma table for me. So the puck's on the end of the feet. So I did buy the vise. It cost me $250. So other than that, that was the total cost for me. Yeah, you scrounge around, and you know, my brother, the grater blade, years and years and years ago, gave me a bunch of these things. I use them for counterweights and stuff, but I finally had a better use for one. So I have several of those laying around still. Anyway, other than that, I just thought I'd do a quick little recap on how it's made and what I made it out of. Thing's heavy. I have no idea what it weighs, but it's not light. I'm sure it's over 200 pounds, 250, maybe even. It's pretty dang heavy. I can't pick it up. So, all right, there we go. Thanks, you guys. Thanks for watching.